No. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
And you can see a picture, right? Because it's not blurry.
Uh,
Okay, because it's all funny for me. Okay, probably not. Okay, so if you can see it, great. If you can't, well, I don't know. Imagine, use your creativity. I am going to talk about a question that came up in last Saturday's PIM or Sunday's PIM. Somebody right at the end asked this question that if we shouldn't care a lot about what other people say and we should go about our business, then why is it that we do care so much about what other people say? Why can't we just move on? And here's the answer to that. Okay. Somewhere something went terribly wrong. And this is the reason why we care so much what other people think and say about us. Now, as we evolved, as you can see in this picture, we've got, we moved on from being an ape, and we've got tools, then we went on to having electrical tools and superior gadgets. But our brains haven't caught up. Our brains still are the same, pretty much in a primitive state. And that's what has gone wrong. So the way we evolved is we evolved to live like this. We evolved to live in groups, and that was best suited for our survival. Because if you were not a part of a group, what would happen? You would get eaten up by a wild animal, because it's very difficult to fight a wild animal like a big bear or saber-toothed tiger by yourself. So this is why people lived in tribes or in groups, so that they could protect each other. Now imagine what would happen if you're a part of this group and you find an animal or a big bush of blueberries, and you hog most of the meat or most of the blueberries, and others are left with very little or almost none. What would they do? They would not want you to be a part of that group, and they would kick you out. If you're kicked out, or in short, rejected from that group, you are no longer a part of that group. Your survival now is endangered. And when your survival is endangered, your brain is sending you signals saying, oh my God, this is not good, this is not good. So this is why we evolved to live in groups. And this is why our brains triggered, had a reaction towards rejection, because we were meant to be a part of groups. But then we evolved, and soon this is now is our present lifestyle. Though it all looks like this, in reality, this is not what it is. In reality, this is what it is. So though we have a computer, a laptop, all our gadgets, but in reality, our brains are still in this state, in the very primitive state that goes into flight or fight. So we were meant to be in a part of group. And now when we are rejected, our brains don't feel safe. And this is what was shown in a latest fMRI scan study. It was, well, not latest, it was done in 2010. So what they showed was when a person is faced with rejection, the same part of their brain lights up as when they're faced with a physical pain. So it's the insula and the anterior cingulate cortex that lights up when you suffer physical injury, or be it a rejection. And same thing happens. Your brain releases opioids, which is your natural painkiller. So when a person in this case study, in this kind of study, was told hypothetically just that, oh, we were trying to match you on a dating website with this person, but they didn't like your picture, so they've rejected you. The brain released opioids, which is a chemical as a painkiller. So if your arm was cut off or something, the same chemical would be released. So basically, what the study shows is that rejection can be painful because our brain senses it to be a threat to our survival. Now, in reality, we know it is not a threat to our survival, but nature has done that to us. Another thing then, to make matters worse, is nurture. Because of epigenetics, our parents and their parents, our grandparents, ancestors have learned that we want to be a part of group. We don't want to be rejected. We want to fit in. We are meant to fit in. So think of the praises that we get right from our early childhood. When you do something great, you win a trophy, what does your mommy say to you? Oh, I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy. You've made my day today. So what does that tell us? That when we behave in a certain way, we make our caregivers happy. We need to do this to make our caregivers happy, our parents, our caregivers happy, in order to survive. So both nature and nurture have done that to us. So just bear in mind this image. Our primitive brain together with our upbringing, so basically nature and nurture, both put together are working against us. We have now evolved and come to a state where we no longer have to be a part of group. We choose to, that's a different story. We don't have to be a part of group in order to survive. So if someone says, I don't like what you've done, we're not going to die, but our brain thinks we are. So that's why we take rejection so personally. Just tell yourself we're not going to die and move on, because we are using an old brain in a new world, which is quite outdated. So you have to be conscious of that, and that's about it. So that's about it. Thank you for now. Back to you, Kiran.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Nikita. As usual, superbly good. I think people now realize what kind of you're using. Intel Core i3 processor, Core
Yeah.
what processing coming out of start using the fastest media what you have right now, and you'll be all good. But it is so true. In fact, while I was talking to Vijay used to tell, how can you make this work for you? So while you feel rejected, what is the best way you can make this work? अच्छा ठीक है यार, अगर अपना पुर्जा थोड़ा सा पुराना जमाने का है, while we evolve, why don't we use the strength part of it? And Vijay told amazingly good. He told, when you don't have a dream, for example, if you don't have a dream, the biggest drive you would get is to make your loved ones happy and make your loved ones feel so good about yourself. And you just imagine, every one of you will have someone in your life whom you feel कि इसके सामने मैं कभी fail होना नहीं चाहता या होना नहीं चाहती. It could be a mom, it could be a dad, any one person in your world. For me, maybe it could be Vijay, it could be my own dad. I can do whatever failure, I can do whatever mistakes I want, but I never want to let these people down. And that will give you another reason कि whatever rejection comes, as long as this rejection doesn't come from these two set of people who know कि we are going in the right direction, बाकी सबका rejection could be added as a feedback and just flush it out and use it as a fuel. So that has really worked. I think it's an amazing, Nikita. You went so deep into it. Now people know what is up.